Do you remember there being like those sponsored step down things? Like,
yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to those. Cause this is so stupid, but I thought those were cool. Like,
yeah.
They had one at Southwick where you'd come over like a big roller and there'd just be a drop and it'd say like Lucas Oil, like in the dirt.
Yeah. Good question.
I don't know whatever happened to those. I didn't hear anyone talk about
I
those
have a
or anything.
picture of me doing a sick scrub at Southwick over one of those signs.
Yeah.
I do know for sure that somebody endoed on a sight lap. Did you ever see that or hear about that?
I would assume that would happen.
Some factory guy, I can't remember who it was, forgot that it was there, endoed on the sight lap. So I don't know if they got hurt and that's why they got rid of it. Because I don't know why else they would have. It was cool. It would have looked cool on TV.
Yeah.
In the sight laps and first lap of practice, there would be like a big sign or there was something that said drop or it was like,
yeah,
there would be
like
flags.
mountain bikes.
Yeah, they would just let you know like, hey, don't roll this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't high enough to be scary. It was like the height of your chair.
Yeah,
so
and it seemed fairly easy. Like
2.5 feet.
I could probably do it nice and easy.
Totally.
Right over,
Just was cool.
Yeah.
Especially at Southwick where there's not really any jumps.
Yeah.
Kind of gave you a little moment to like float and like it was a jump for a second.
Yeah, let go for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that in 2011, 12, 13 range?
I would assume so. Yeah. I remember just being a kid and looking at those and I was watching National. I think it might've been 2022. I was watching Nationals and I was thinking about it. I was like, whatever happened to those? I never remember
some
them.
Jumps where you could, well, like look at Straight Rhythm last year where we jumped over a giant scaffolding tabletop where like it was a place for people to, it was like a concession stand underneath it.
Oh, really?
I think they made something underneath it. And then the whole top could have been an advertisement. I don't know if there was a Red Bull logo up top or not.
It was metal, right?
But nobody was landing up there, so you can use spaces like the Sky Shot at Unadilla.
Yeah.
You almost can make the takeoff big enough and then just have
that drop there.
Some signage and a drop there. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should bring those back. Why not?
Yeah.
I agree with you. And it would have been in my era because I remember definitely racing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one you're going to enjoy talking about.
Do you watch old races like that on TV ever?
All the time, dude. Like, especially now, I watch so many. I love, like.
Do you have a favorite race or a race that you've watched more than a couple times?
The first one that comes to mind would be Toronto 2014. Stewart.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
That was just like.
That's the first one that comes to my mind.
When he scrubbed under Brayton, that was insane. Like.
That was a sick track too.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that like that is one of the most iconic ones and people mention that as theirs.
2014. Were you racing that 2014?
Yeah, I think I got 8th or 9th that night in the 250 class. But the long rhythm that Barsha kept botching and Stewart was able to go
jump over the
table.
Yeah.
I was almost able to get that in time qualifying. Like I got up over the first one, got all the way to the second one, but like couldn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Then there was something else that night that I did. There was a couple things that year where like in time qualifying, somehow, for some reason, I was able to do an obstacle that like nobody else was. And I don't know what it was about that year, but that track at Toronto, because Stewart, the rhythm before the finish line, he was 3ing in, which nobody else was going 3 in.
Yeah.
After the finish line, you would turn left, there was the wall, and then there was a little tire tappy type thing. And Stewart was doing a quad tire tap.
Yeah, and then landing in a pocket and just launching
then going
the rest
3-2
of the rhythm.
instead of 2-3, which was way, way faster. And then the long rhythm after that.
That was a split lane, right?
The split lane was before the finish.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he was doing a big line in that split lane,
Split lane, he was going 3 in on the right side in the split lane, which was huge.
Yeah.
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 That track was a gnarly track. The triple, TV did no justice to this. The takeoff of that triple was massive, by the way. And the takeoff was super deep ruts. And you would come out of the rhythm all awkward and kind of bobbling, and then 90-degree turn into those deep ruts. So it was impossible to get lined up.
Yeah.
Super scary.
Yeah.
The 450s would have had a more rutted track, but the 250, like barely being able to make that thing.
Yeah.
That was a gnarly track.
Yeah,
Whoops got all beat up. People were crashing the whoops left and right. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.